Leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
At Doane University, we build leaders, and that means your success and achievements come first. Now is the time to get a glimpse into living and learning at Doane University through a personalized in-person or virtual visit. We know once you experience Doane, you'll see why it's a place where you can achieve your goals and shape your future. Schedule your personal campus visit today at doane.edu/visit.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
If one of the things running through your mind as a business owner is the recurring worry of possible cyber attacks, you can let out a sigh of relief. Hamilton Business Technologies has you covered. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we offer real-time threat monitoring, advanced security protocols, and more to keep your data safe from harm. We care about the success of Nebraska businesses and communities like yours. Learn how we can help you at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in. Arens on the ones and twos. Going to do another hour here before we get to Chris Raff. Raff's good take on sports. You guys are always welcome to join in. 93.7 Ticket, ticketfm.com. I'm going to expand a little bit more on Husker hoops as well as just go through some of the scores going around college basketball. A little bit of possibility for a lot of upsets. Packed Tuesday, a Super Tuesday, if you will, in the men's college basketball world. Just a real quick update since these games are still going on. Potential for some big upsets. The biggest one, although it's a 6-point game and there's only 22 minutes left to go, the Penn State Nittany Lions are only down by 6 points to Michigan. Penn State can pull that one off. That is one more undefeated team that we can knock off the list to keep Nebraska in that group. And okay, like I said, they missed that shot there. But a minute 56, still 6-point lead for number 2 Michigan over Penn State. Scratch that. Make that now just a 3-point lead. We'll keep our eyes on that one. You got number 18 Georgia. They're getting throttled right now by Florida. They're down 73 to 86. So you got some movement there. And there's only a minute 45 left to go in that game. Then you move on to number 6, Duke. They are starting to pull away here. They do have a good lead over number 20, Louisville, 68-79. Duke leading Louisville. And then you got Oklahoma State leading number 25, UCF at halftime, 41-32. And then an upset that I think we'll all applaud for and root for. You got Minnesota beating number 19 ranked Iowa, currently 38-27, although the second half just started, 16 minutes left to go in that one. Later tonight, you got more good ball games. You got number 14 Texas Tech versus number 7 Houston. That one starts at 8. TCU facing number 22 Kansas. That one as well starts at 8. And then the last 8 o'clock game, Texas versus number 21 Tennessee. Those are all the ranked ones. I shouldn't say the only ones going on, but those are the ranked games to keep your eyes on, as we got potential for a few upsets in this one. And I know that number 2 Michigan team, who's looked borderline unbeatable. I mean, they're 13-0. They've been blowing teams out of the water. Just for reference, the night prior, they beat USC by 33 points. They find another competent opponent. They beat Maryland by 20 plus points. They've been on to beat Villanova by a significant margin. They beat Rutgers by over 40 points. They beat Auburn by 30. They beat Gonzaga, number 8 Gonzaga, by the way. They beat those guys by 40 points. So if unranked Penn State can pull this off, gives a lot of credibility to the Big Ten, but also to that Penn State Nittany Lions program, as Penn State, has been the most dominant team. They're sitting there, I think, with a few losses. I want to say 4 losses on the year already for those guys. The last one, they already went ahead and lost to Illinois. Shout out to the people in downtown Lincoln. But it's a lot of fun out here as far as these college basketball games. So I'll definitely keep you score updates on that, just because it seems like we're maybe in tow for quite a few upsets. In the meantime, though, I do want to talk about some Husker basketball. It's been the bright spot. You could argue the wrestling program as well, at least as the winter's gone by. I think there's a lot of turmoil with people trying to understand which direction the Husker football program is going. If you guys want to go that direction, you can always chime in. 402-464-5685. You can tell me what's wrong with Husker football, or you can tell me everyone needs to stop panicking. We are going to back-to-back bowl games, regardless of how it looked. That's better than what it was in years prior. Again, that sort of Heyman text line is always open to you. I do want to dive into basketball a little bit, because we only had about 5 minutes before me and Nick Wyman left off with it. They got a big one coming up. They're going to be facing Indiana on the road here. And that's 2 back-to-back road games. We say it all the time. It is a tough thing to do. In college basketball in general, but especially in the Big Ten, you notice this trend really stick through, is stealing road games is tough. And that's why that Ohio State game, it does deserve a ton of credit, because regardless of, unless you're playing, that team, that year's worst Big Ten opponent, or second worst, or maybe third worst, it's a very small group at the bottom of teams that you kind of, I don't want to say expect, but you can kind of walk in there and take care of business. This is Ohio State team that was going to give you a fight at home. Whether it was a, ranked Ohio State and unranked Ohio State, it was a good enough team. Like I said, they got some guys on there. Certainly one guy who's going to get some NBA looks, and rightfully so. He does an incredible job in Thornton. But let's say, huge win for Nebraska basketball. And trying to figure out what makes this team so successful, me and Nick Wyman talked about it. It's that connectivity. I mean, the assist to turnover ratio is the number that I highlight and I gloss over all the time, because if you can consistently do that, you're going to consistently be putting your team in a lot of good positions to win ball games. You might not make every shot, but if you're feeding your guys good looks, it's going to lead to a lot of assists. And if that number stays true as the year goes on here, that's just a sign of a well-running offense. It's the difference of what you see in some of these other teams. Like when you go look at schools like, we'll just use Ohio State since the most recent game, or there's 2 guys I think you're really scared of. And then outside of that, they can have their moments, but they're not going to be taking over the same way. With Nebraska basketball, yes, you have to watch out for Rink Mast. Yeah, you have to watch out for Price Sanford. But it's the way they share the ball, because if you're sleeping on it, Sam Hoiberg is good enough to make a backdoor cut. Cale Jacobson showed that. Now Braden Frager's having his moments, and he can be assertive. If you're going to be, not respecting him, or maybe sagging off, singing passing lanes, he will take advantage of that. He's got a good 3-point shot. He's really shown a good job driving the ball, being able to finish around the trees. Just some unreal finishes. You saw it early on that he was an athlete when he had that left-handed lob early in the season where he flushed it down. But you're seeing some of his touch as well. And that's what's really nice to see. You like the athleticism. You really like it when a guy can do both. When he's got the soft touch when he needs to, he can kind of correct his shot while in midair. And he's, like I said, I think he's a shoe-in to probably be Big Ten all-freshman of the week again. And so far, no one seems to have really been matching his numbers. And that's just another piece to your offense that you can throw at teams. And it's the same thing with Garcia, who's a big who he only had 1 3 in that last game, but I think that's the only shot he took. And he's had moments before where he can shoot the 3 if needed. But he's also got some nice footwork inside. And we haven't really had to lean on him at all. But he's gotten minutes. And when he's gotten minutes, he's done a pretty good job with it. With Berkay Berutengel, this is probably the best role that he's felt over at UCLA. I think he didn't quite try to find what he wanted to do. And then we got here at Nebraska last year. I've talked about it a lot, so I'll be quick on it. I think we're just looking for offense. And I don't blame him for trying to create some of that for the team. Because it was a lot of, okay, if Williams doesn't have it, Juwan Gary doesn't have it, who's going to be the guy to score? Because we struggled, without rink mass significantly. I thought inside with our bigs, we didn't quite have that high-low connection that we've seen in years prior. Berkay Berutengel, maybe a little bit of blessing in disguise, because you could make an argument that he became a better playmaker as a result of last year and having to take on more of a role and having to play pretty similar to that rink mass role, which I think was Fred Hoiberg's thought. I'm not in his mind, but it seemed that way. Where you saw him a lot initiating at the high, at the free throw line at the top of the key and just trying to hit his guys for easy passes. So I think he got some of that. And although didn't always look pretty last year, I think it's certainly helping him out this year. And you pair that up with Rank Mass, and then you got a guy named Garcia who can come off the bench, and he's flashed some really good moments. Haven't seen a lot from Leo Curtis, the big man from Iceland, who from the tape, he's got jumper as well that he can maybe stretch you out. But the point I'm trying to make is you got a lot of guys you got to stop. You can't just stop Sanford. And you can't just stop Mast. Mast in particular is a good passer. So if you really try to commit to Mast, he's done a good job finding other guys open if you want to overcommit to him. And he doesn't have the most complicated tools in the world. I mean, he goes in for that hook that he knocks down, not at a ridiculous rate, but consistently enough to where you have to respect it. His most dangerous shot is probably at the top of the key, especially when he's feeling it. He's been lights out from there. But he doesn't do anything that blows you away, but he takes what's there and what's easy and available. And if you just take that away, he's a great passer. And he knows when to bounce that thing out and look for the next opportunity. And that's the best part of this offense. I said it before when we watched Winthrop and we played those guys at home. That team almost played a little bit similar style of Nebraska basketball, in a sense of how good their ball movement was and how patient they were in the shot clock. I thought Winthrop might have given us a real good run for our money, and they get it close, just because they're so patient on offense. And that's what I see in this Nebraska team. When you go look at any level, the NBA is always the easiest one to point out. I always use the James Harden example. It's easy to stop those James Harden MVP years in the playoffs. Because in the playoffs, James Harden demanded all the respect. Because he was the guy that usage rate was, above 30+%. He was taking a big majority of the shots. And when he was off the court, they struggled. And when he was on the court, they were electric. But you get into postseason play, the scouting report just says stop James Harden. If the other guys beat us, so be it. And I know that's oversimplifying things. That really is the key. Can you stop their best player or limit their best player? And if you could, you're a lot more likely to win those playoff games. And that's what happened to those Rockets on a lot of those exits, was leaning heavy on James Harden. He has a bad day shooting and they lose because you can't be the entire offense unless you're going to be an unreal playoff run, which does happen from time to time. It's a tough thing to do. Look at the leading scorer in the NBA year after year, and then look at how many times the leading scorer in the NBA went on to win an NBA championship. Incredibly rare. That is a small group of guys that you're trying to find there. Maybe it changes. I think Luka's still sitting at number one right now. If the Lakers can find a way to make a playoff push and he ends up winning a championship, that'd be another one to the collection, but that's a tough thing to pull off. And I think that's the strength of this basketball team. I'm just a big fan of good basketball. And when you're able to spread the ball that way, the scouting report has to keep going on. You can't just stop at the key players and then have a couple sentences for Sam Hoiberg. And here's a couple sentences for Cale Jacobson. Yeah, they get on the floor. They're going to look to pass. They're not going to look to score. Yes, if he's open on the corner three, he might take it, but he's not a great shooter. He's not going to be aggressive when going to the lane. No, you have to account for those things. You can't fall asleep on Hoiberg. If you do, he'll cut back door. Same thing with Jacobson. You got to keep an eye on him. Even if he's done nothing that game, as soon as you take a step off, he's going into the lane for an easy look. And if you overcommit, if the help comes down and commits, again, you go back to that passing, you look for the next best opportunity. They'll kick it out, maybe find an easy corner three. That's the beauty of this Husker basketball team. It is not as good as Mast has been, as good as Sanford's been. That is where I think a lot of their strength comes from, is just their ability to share the ball. And that scouting report has to be a little bit longer than maybe some of those opposing teams want them to be. It's been a lot of fun. Their next one is going to be on the road versus Indiana. It's 11 a.m. game as well. So that'll be the first time, I believe, that we see them on the road in the morning like that. Unique environment. Indiana basketball is nowhere near what it used to be. Kind of ironic. They maybe have flipped into a football school, and maybe we flipped into a basketball school. Be great if we could be both, but we'll have to wait for the fall to see if Nebraska football can continue on and try to up that win total and get past 7 wins, which we ended up with these last 2 seasons. Obviously, last season, you get the win versus Boston College in the bowl game to get you to 7. This year, you get blown out by Utah in the bowl game to keep you at 7. I'm not fully out on Matt Rule, but I can understand why people want to see some results, and they want to see some momentum. When you lose some elite talent like that, you're kind of reshuffling the deck on your coaching staff. You want to find consistency. And you just keep – it's not fair to compare it to basketball time because it's a smaller roster. It's easier to maybe keep some of those guys in place because you got a better connection with them as opposed to your 100-plus roster on the football team. But that's another point to Fred Hoiberg, is the way he's gotten loyalty out of his team. I always use the point, like, what do you think Nebraska's paying NIL for its guys on this basketball roster? And now go look at that and then go try to compare that. What is Michigan paying its guys to maintain on their roster? Probably a significant amount more. Maybe, 4 times as much, 3 times as much. I guarantee you it's a big number. And Nebraska basketball, yes, they get some funds. I'm not blaming the NIL department, but it just says a lot about Fred Hoiberg's ability to identify talent, then develop the talent, and then get that talent to understand its system and make those guys feel like they're in a good spot to win a bunch of ball games. Because, say what you will, but Jamarcus Lawrence came back because he saw something in this Nebraska basketball team after they went on to win the college basketball crown. Although it might have been disappointing, you make the tournament, then you miss it the next year, but you do get the crown and you go undefeated there, which is also allowed for the longest active win streak. We're currently sitting here at 19 straight wins, which is tells you a lot about what Fred Hoiberg's been able to do, and it maybe has finally kind of clicked in of what this team is supposed to look like and how he wants his teams going forward to play. And Lenzer on the defensive side deserves a ton of credit as well. We might be one of the best rotating defenses out there. The way those guys are able to deny everything on baseline and still be able to get out there and contest on 3-point shots. The shot we'll give you is not the layup. It's not a wide open take your 3. Impressive stuff from the basketball team. They got Indiana, like I said, coming up here. And we'll have the postgame for that, as always. I believe that one is Saturday. Another update on these scores before we get to our next break here. Unfortunately, Michigan gets the win. Michigan gets the win over Penn State. So number 2, Michigan stays undefeated. Just looking at the box score, really spread out for these guys. Kaysen had 14. McKinney had 12. Gale Jr. had 7. Burnett had 12. Morrow was 7. Lendenberg with 10. I mean, it was just a really good overall spread out performance. Penn State kind of relied on a few heavy hands there, and they fell just short, lose by 2 points. Close game, though. Penn State, they tried it. They tried to come back in that second half, but there just was not enough time left. After being down by 9 in the first half, they needed to get a little bit more offense, unable to do so. So Michigan stays undefeated. They avoid a disaster on the road. Again, going back to those road games, how tough they are to pull out. We just watched number 2 Michigan dominate all these teams, some of these Big Ten opponents, especially at home by 30. In the case of Rutgers, 40 points. And they go to Penn State on the road and they almost lose. And they barely scrape away with a win by 2 points. That's why you don't want to belittle Nebraska's win versus Ohio State on the road yesterday. You take those road wins anytime you can get. Another game that wrapped up, number 18, Georgia gets decimated by Florida. Florida wins at 92-77. Another upset that got avoided was number 6, Duke. They hold on to a win. They take down number 20, Louisville, 84-73. Second half started for UCF in Oklahoma State. Number 25, UCF at that, 51-43. Oklahoma State still leading. And then number 19, Iowa, is still down to the Minnesota Gophers. It is currently 42-33. Texas Tech, number 14, Texas Tech. Number 7, Houston just got rolling. TCU, number 22, Kansas. Texas, number 21, Tennessee. All those games just getting rolling right now. Those are your ranked games for the night. And a little bit of chaos to get things going, especially with that Florida win and a huge upset where they dropped 92 points. Pretty spread around performance. You had a couple of 20-point performances, and as well as not super deep into the bench. I mean, Brown gave you 9. Conlon gave you 21. Big one right there. And then Flan gives you 8. Lee gives you 6. And Hawk gives you 21. For Georgia, just a bad shooting night. Their leading scorer, Millender, only had you 18, and everybody else was just barely over. I guess Dylan James gave you 16. And then Catchings gave you 12. But other than that, a lot of their starters did not play well in that game necessarily. So Florida Gators, they move on to 9-5. Georgia, they get a loss. They are now 13-1 with a record of, 13-2 with that loss right there to Florida. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and throw it to break here. We'll dive back into a little bit of NBA. I want to tap in on that, and then we'll get back to Husker football. Don't go anywhere. Like I said, we got another couple segments here. Chris Raff will be joining me from 9 to 10. We'll have DeMornay, 10 to 11, me and DP to wrap things up. As always, we'll be here till midnight. So don't go anywhere. 93.7 The Ticket. We'll keep it rolling right here. You guys are welcome to join in. 402-464-5685. We'll throw it to break. 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Husker Nation, conference play is here for Husker women's hoops, and we need your help. The Huskers had one of their best starts ever, completing non-conference play with a perfect 12-0 record. But Big Ten play will be a challenge, and they need to hear Husker Nation in the stands for every basket, steal, and each and every win. The road to March starts now, so don't wait. Head to huskers.com/tickets and secure your seat for some unforgettable matchups in PBA. Go Big Red.
A membership with John Henry's will fast track you to front of the line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
And electrical.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Got two more segments left here on Ticket Weeknights. This hour going to be going solo here, diving into a little bit of the NBA side of things here. The standings this year are a little bit jarring, especially when you look at the Pacers. I think that one sticks out. Obviously, you lose what was a very electric season from Tyrese Halliburton, and then he goes down in the playoffs last year. Currently, the Pacers have 6 wins. And yes, Pascal Siakam is playing. I think that's the biggest fall from grace out of anybody, the most unexpected. Now, you could have definitely made the argument they're going to have a worse start to the season because there is no Tyrese Halliburton, and it'd be a long, long time. You have to get close to postseason before he had any opportunity to come back. But it's been terrible. They've lost 12 straight right now. The record's sitting at 6-30, and they just lost their last one to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Pacers, biggest fall from grace. You could say the biggest riser or doubling down on what they did last season. The Pistons in the East. The Pistons are still sitting at number one. I keep checking up on these guys, and they just keep upping up that separation between them and number two. Currently, the Pistons are 27-9. Celtics are 23-12. Cade Cunningham's been incredible. I mean, he's having one of those type of years. He's certainly become the real leader on that team. And then you get a guy like Tobias Harris, Tobias Harris has always been good. I mean, just a lot of those years on the Philadelphia 76ers, it's just been a good team and just falls apart when they get to postseason. A lot of it had to do with injuries. Certainly when you got a guy like Joel Embiid, who's the leader on your team, who's injury prone, and you really need him down slate. Don't have him. You have to have some of those other guys step up. Tobias Harris, oddly enough, down the stretch was really starting to do some big things. He's had moments like that, but this is probably one of the better fits he's had. I mean, he's a consistent, probably giving you about 15 points a game on some pretty good efficiency, and he's still got the size to play really good defense. He's been a great fit for those guys this season. Celtics are 23-12 in a good spot. I mean, you knew you were going to be without Jason Tatum. It was going to have to be the Jaylen Brown show for a while, and you're sitting there at a pretty comfortable 23-12 in second place, tied with the Knicks. Not tied. Knicks got one more loss. They're 23-13. Raptors 22-15, and the 76ers 19-15. Magic 20-16. Heat 20-16. Cavs 20-17. Those are your teams. My Bulls, the Hawks. It's like every year those two teams are on the play-in. They both got 17 wins. The East is looking pretty thin. I mean, you feel good about some of these teams in the top. The Orlando Magic, I know they're sitting at the 6th, and they got 16 losses already. But that's a good roster that I wouldn't be surprised if they keep figuring out ways to win more games. You get to the West. Obviously, the West, the more loaded conference of the two, which has been that way for majority of the time I've been alive here. Thunder's still sitting at number 1, 30 wins, 7 losses. They were getting talked about like they were going to be able to go attempt to get that regular season record, and it kind of fell apart, which is a strong word. They only have 7 losses, but they strung a couple of losses together and then puts them at 7. They're out of contention for that now. Spurs 25-10, sitting at second place. It has been the Victor Wembanyama show. I mean, he has, I don't even want to say fully arrived yet, which is a crazy thing to say, but when you go watch this OKC team, he might be like one of the guys that actually can slow down their offense. He is such a menace on defense. And then offensively, I don't know how you stop him. You need a Giannis Antetokounmpo to try to match up with him around the rim, but then you also need someone quick enough that when you get on the perimeter, he's shown that he can get going from the 3-point line if he's feeling it. And if he has that going on, then you're in a nightmare situation. I mean, put a good 3-point shot on Giannis Antetokounmpo and just ask yourselves how many problems that creates. It's kind of what Victor Wembanyama is doing. It's not consistent yet, where it's not night in, night out, where he can light you up, but he's still even, he's got a better touch. He's got better handles. Giannis, you can kind of set up that wall because he's just downhill. He's going to put his head down and he's going to try to jump over you. With Victor Wembanyama, despite having just ridiculous size at advantage, he's got enough nimbleness to him to make some really good finishes, or if he needs to pull up and go ahead and shoot it, and maybe a better passer than Giannis is, which it could be a little bit strong, but what you're seeing out of him, it's been pretty surprising. He's keeping those turnover numbers down despite the usage rate going up on him. He's been awesome. I mean, he is going to be must-watch TV. For anyone who hasn't, fully sat in and got to see the Victor Wembanyama experience, it's unreal. He seems like an unstoppable player, and that's kind of been the case for him in a lot of it. And that's why they have 25 wins and only 10 losses, and they're sitting there at number 2. And number 3, it is Los Angeles Lakers. They're sitting there at 22-21. 22 wins, 11 losses. And LeBron James officially back, has been in the mix for a while now. You got an unreal year from Luka Doncic. He's still leading the league in points. That's kind of go back to earlier. Might be one of those crazy years where you do have the NBA leading scorer also be your NBA champion. As I don't know what it is with LeBron, but a lot of people just didn't want LeBron back on the court because they thought it'd ruin the chemistry. It's been fine. I mean, the Lakers are still winning a good amount of games. There's always drama around it with LeBron James, but listen, he's going to go out there and he's going to give you about 25 points. He's going to give you 7 rebounds, 5 rebounds. He's going to give you around 5-6 assists, and he's going to shoot it pretty close to 50% from the floor. Occasionally you get a bad night where it takes too many threes and he maybe shoots like 20% from the 3-point line or just above 20%. But like those are bad nights when the offense is relying on him to make some splash plays. If Luka Doncic is going, like he doesn't necessarily need to take a lot, and you've seen it, he won't. If he doesn't need to, he'll look to take the easy shots and defer when it's there. So the Lakers, again, I don't always fully understand the idea that LeBron is the guy ruining the team. I mean, I get it. You have some good players, and he demands a lot on your cap space. If you want to go with that argument, that's a little more fair than say he isn't a good player. But that team's definitely dangerous. If they get in the postseason, say what you will about LeBron James, he is going to have one of the highest IQs in there. He's got some great talent, young talent around him. And Austin Reeves has really been playing pretty well this season, despite what maybe I even thought he'd be able to do heading into the year. And then, of course, we talked about Luka Doncic already. Tough team to stop. And then behind them, you got the Denver Nuggets at 24-12. They are just on the verge of trying to get Nikola Jokic back. He's been hurt. Obviously, the hyperextended his knee. He's been fighting back. And I think they were kind of hoping that he'd be back next game, and they're just playing it safe. But on the bright side, you will get Jokic basketball, I think, pretty soon. So for the Nuggets fans, they kind of survived the storm of how are you going to win games without him when he's such a big part of your offense. And they did enough. It wasn't a super long injury, which was a sigh of relief for not just Nuggets fans, but NBA fans in general who like to watch great talent play. And he should be back in the lineup pretty soon here. So for the Nuggets, they treaded water enough. They should be right back in contention. They're still sitting there at the 4 seed. And like I said, I think he will be back in that next Nuggets game. At number 5, you have the Rockets. They started off hot. They're still playing good basketball, but they're no longer that 1 seed. They're 22-11. Timberwolves 23-13 at 6. The Phoenix Suns are surprisingly at number 7. They're 21-15, and the Golden State Warriors are 19-18. And then your play-in teams as it sits right now: Portland Trailblazers 17-20, and the Memphis Grizzlies 15-20. Clippers, rough start, maybe not what you wanted, 13-22. Mavericks, they're 13-23, and then the Jazz, they've actually, they had a little bit of life, and then they lost 4 straight. They're sitting there at 12-23, and you got the Kings 8-28. Which has just been unfortunate. You get Zach LaVine in there, you get DeMar DeRozan, you feel like you're going to be able to get things going finally, at least get some wins, sitting there with 8. And then the Pelicans. Pelicans got to be one of the more sorry teams in the West. That's not the Jazz. They are sitting there at 8-29. When you had that Zion Williamson, when it feels like it was forever ago, but you draft him, it felt like the Pelicans' tides finally shifted. You bring in a lot of young talent out of the Lakers when you move on from Anthony Davis. You have to move on from some of those young talent guys that you got from the Lakers, like your Kyle Kuzma, your Lonzo Ball, your Josh Hart's, and you're sitting there in a situation where there's not a lot left from what you got, and there's not a lot of hope left in terms of the direction that you were currently heading in. I don't think Zion's going to be the leader that team ever wanted. I think they were hoping for something big there. Whether you blame the Pelicans for not getting him on track sooner, you want to blame Zion Williamson. I mean, if an organization has the history of playing bad basketball, it's not surprising that one player didn't save the organization. Rough start for the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't know what they have to do to fix that place. I mean, you kind of have to, you don't want to say blow it up, but you're sitting there in a situation where I don't know where the wins come from. I'd have to look at what they're all demanding cap space. I'd imagine they have a good bit of room there. I mean, what are your highest players? Like Zion, maybe Jordan Poole. I guess you got DeAndre Jordan, but he's not on a super long contract by any means. Maybe they're in the process of blowing it up and just trying to see what they got with Zion Williamson. But I mean, you're just kind of wasting years at this point. You got Derek Queen, Jeremiah Fears, Trey Murphy III. I guess you do got DeJounte Murray, but that hasn't worked out the way you wanted it to either. Kevin Looney. Yeah. I'd imagine they have a good amount of cap space left, which would make me ask why they weren't more aggressive, especially when you feel like you're getting to a point here with this team where you got to figure out which direction you want to go. And if Zion is going to be the leader of your team, you're sitting there with 8 wins. Like, his trade stock just keeps going down the longer you hold on to him. So if you really believe he's that guy, then you got to put money around him to help him out. If you don't believe he's that guy, it's too late now, but you probably should trade him a while ago, maybe a few seasons ago, even, to give yourself some picks and a chance to reload and find some new young talent. It seems like they're kind of just locked in with Zion, but they don't know what they want to do with him. And they don't know what talent to surround him with. You got the skinny Zion this year. I know people are freaking out about that heading into the season. It hasn't panned out the way people wanted. It's got to go Big Red Captain on YouTube. He says, good evening. Shout out to the people. All the ticket listeners listening. Again, 402-464-5685. We got one more segment before we get to Chris Raff. That being said, we'll go ahead and throw it to break here. That is my little bit on the NBA segment. We'll dive a little bit into the portal because I know me and Raff are going to dive into that. Some of the guys that Nebraska football got to hopefully revamp this roster and put it in a good spot for next season. Don't go anywhere. 93.7 ticketfm.com.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
A new season, a home crowd, a fresh start. Love Nebraska opens its 2026 home schedule on Sunday, January 11th at Baxter Arena, hosting Love Houston in the home opener. First serve is set for 3 p.m., and the excitement starts the moment the doors open. Don't miss the chance to see elite professional volleyball featuring Olympians, All-Americans, national champions, and more as the season officially gets underway. It's opening night, Nebraska. Be there. Get tickets now at lovneb.com/tickets.
Unearth the secret to long-lasting tires at Tread's Central Tire Pros, a league apart in commitment, service, and expertise. This isn't just about rubber meeting the road, but trust, safety, and surety converging in perfect harmony. This is where expectations are exceeded every time. Make your appointment today at Tread Central Tire Pros, just south of Cortland on Highway 77, or visit our website to explore our services. Remember, when it comes to tires, choose Tread Central Tire Pros because we tread differently.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Attention, Nebraska sports fans. Are you ready to take your skills to the next level? The Army National Guard is looking for leaders who are dedicated, driven, and ready to make a difference. Join up and gain invaluable experience while serving your country with a flexible schedule, competitive benefits, and a chance to build a strong future. Learn more at nationalguard.com/Nebraska. Live here, serve here. The Nebraska Army National Guard. Guard the good life.
A membership with John Henry's will fast track you to front of the line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air.
And electrical.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment. We got a little less than 10 minutes here before we get things to Chris Raff. Left myself a little bit of room here. I want to highlight what we're going to be doing in the next hour. Obviously, I'm going to go into the portal a little bit. What does Nebraska got? QB situation. And then, of course, we're going to hop into the NFL coaching carousel in the next hour. And then we'll get DP's thoughts on the current portal operations that Nebraska has going on right now, with quarterback being the biggest one so far. Most people's minds will certainly talk about Cole Andrea. And the other news, Hawkeyes, number 19 Hawkeyes, they're still losing on the bright side of things. They are currently down by 10 points. Number 19 Iowa losing to Minnesota. And there is only 5 minutes left to go, and there's a 10-point deficit that the Hawkeyes are going to have to try to claw back from, and I think we all hope that they don't. So, could be a good win for Minnesota. Minnesota this year, again, men's college basketball has just been pesky. I can never get a good pulse on Minnesota. It feels like when they come to Lincoln, they scare me. I don't know what it is about Minnesota, but they seem like to be kind of just those party disruptors. Like right when you think things are going great, like even for Iowa's instance, you feel like you got a good spot. You're playing good basketball. Here comes Minnesota. Do they have any business? You know, Vegas will say no, but they find ways to do it. They just play physical basketball, and every now and then they just beat teams physically. And they're playing a team like Iowa. If anybody watches Iowa basketball, I'd imagine if you're an old head and you're watching Iowa basketball, you've probably grown because it's just a lot of 3-point balls. I mean, they shoot them and they shoot a lot of them and they'll shoot them early. Minnesota doesn't play that way. They're kind of the polar opposite. And right now, the battle that Minnesota plays, that more gritty style, is currently winning. So that one, keep an eye on it, although looking like a good potential upset if they can hold on to it now with about 5 minutes left. Although, like I said, I do believe Minnesota's at home. Yeah, Minnesota's at home as well. So they do get the home court advantage. Hopefully they're able to close that one out. And then, of course, you had some other games just getting started that aren't quite worth mentioning right now. The text line, Grobate. Shout out to Grobate. Does have to go back to work tomorrow. Yeah, man, that's I feel for you on that one. Good luck when you get back on the work journey. That is always, after the holidays, it's a tough one to go ahead and do. All right, let's talk some Husker football here. Obviously, Cole Andrea, he comes down to Nebraska out of UNLV. It's scary saying committed because until he actually shows up here, with the whole Minchie things, you feel like you don't know anymore. But that is currently who the Huskers have. That's what On3 states. It's all these recruiting sites state. You miss out on Minchie when he goes to Kentucky, but you quickly find a replacement for that quarterback. I'd imagine they had his eyes on him if Minchie fell through, and luckily he was probably still available, and they're able to get him out of there. I know some of the other names people are throwing out there were like Aiden Childs, which nothing against him. Just we need experience at that quarterback position. It's not going to fix everything. That was my whole point with Nick Wyman. Is I nothing against Cole Andrea. I hope he lights it up here in Nebraska, but again, we can go through the quarterbacks. Tell me what was wrong with Casey Thompson. Tell me what was wrong with Adrian Martinez. Tell me what was wrong with Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola, you can say, well, he couldn't run the ball. Fair. But he also had some of the better passing numbers that a lot of these other quarterbacks just straight up didn't have. The consistent factor is all those guys get hurt. They get pretty beat up by the end of the year because we didn't protect him or we got to lean on him too much. Certainly in the case of Adrian, where he's that dual threat quarterback. For everyone who's hyped on TJ Lateef, how much do you want TJ Lateef running out there unless we're sure that we can play that style of offense and keep our quarterback protected? Those are oftentimes the challenges. We do got DP hopping in studio unless we got some breaking news here that he wants to get into. DP,
Why would there be breaking news?
You're coming in here at an impromptu moment.
You're talking ball. You're talking ball. I hear the Huskers got a quarterback.
Calandria at UNLV, potentially.
No,
That's
he's
what
not
On 3 says.
Yeah, but he's not out of UNLV. Where's he out of?
It's not a UNLV quarterback?
Where's he finished at UNLV?
Or Virginia. You're okay.
I don't know why.
tell us about your guy out of Virginia, DP.
I'm just saying that
transferring out of UNLV is the correct terminology.
He was a Wahoo long before and much longer than he was a running Rebel, and he was their second choice at quarterback. Remember, the first guy left town.
Mm-hmm.
He also didn't start in Virginia originally. He couldn't beat out somebody in Virginia. Matter of fact, there were two people he couldn't beat out of Virginia. I'm just gonna play that seed for you.
DP, I'm trying to get the people locked in.
Lock in, but you got a guy. Yeah. But you have a guy that's a 500 quarterback.
Yes,
he's a 500 quarterback. Mm-hmm. All right, who's your pro team?
Bears.
You're a Bears fan. Trivia question. See if you remember. What was the first year the Bears won a championship? You remember that? Remember that conversation?
Well, it was like the championship. It was like 12, like 1912. I want to say.
All right, Harrison. It's 1933.
33.
1933. So you got to remember these things. This is important along the way. Because I told you, I made you a promise that night.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I made you a promise that night.
You put the camera back on me. This is incredible.
I made you a promise that night.
1933 world champions, Chicago Bears. What was their record? Like 6-1-6?
See, we'll have to go. See?
Oh, that's incredible.
We'll have to go back.
I'm wearing this.
We'll have
Saturday.
to go back. We have to go back in time tonight at 11 o'clock. We'll revisit the 33 Bears.
I think it was 6-1-6. Oh, at one point in time, you could be champions with 6 ties on the board. Shout out to DP. If you guys aren't watching on the stream, DP just threw me a t-shirt. I'll put up on stream one more time. It's the world champions, the 1933 Bears, where I do believe they only had 6 wins, 1 loss, and then 6 ties, because that's how they did things back in the day. So I will be definitely representing that come Saturday as my Chicago Bears get ready to take on the Green Bay Packers for round 3. But man, what a treat. I'm all the more excited for Saturday now. And a little bit of fun of history. You guys can go back in time and your mind will get a little bit blown when you start looking at the teams that are so-called champions. And then you look at the records and then you look at the road that how they got there. And it doesn't always make sense, but at the end of the day, it's a title that we can raise. All right. That's our little breakdown on the Bears 1933 championship season. But back to Calandria. Transferred out of UNLV, the DP's point, Virginia guy. So keep all that in mind, but we do land him. They got a couple of offensive linemen as well, one out of Iowa State, that one being Will Hawthorne. He was the Stars game. We can play with the Stars, but I don't even know what it means anymore. 3 stars. Take it for what you will. And then also we got another interior offensive lineman, and that would be Tree Babalade. From saying that, like Babalade. There we go. A few tries there, but we get Tree Babalade out of South Carolina as well. So a couple of guys to add some reinforcements to that offensive line. I think most people would probably circle naturally quarterback 1 if you want to have that quarterback competition. If you're not sure on TJ Lateef, and then of course the trenches. If you want to go defensive line, yes. If you want to go offensive line, yes. The problem is trying to find that talent in the portal is a tough thing to do. So it's a good thing they had a couple of guys. I'm not promising that those guys are going to pan out and be exactly what Nebraska football needed, but it is a tough thing to go get. That is, you put those 1 and 2 or 1 on the board in terms of getting guys out of the portal because it's vitally important, but so does every other college football program. Unless they got an absolute pipeline of talent in those trenches that they are consistently bringing up. It's a big want. A lot of schools are looking for the exact same thing. So if you're going to go get those guys, it's probably going to take a little bit of money and a lot of persuasion to convince them that your school is the right school. Because again, even though Will Hawthorne, and this isn't a disrespect to him, 3-star athlete, 3 stars is going to get you a lot of offers and a potential lot of money. because it is just a tough thing to get out of there. So you get a couple of those guys to help out as well. You do get Dwayne out of San Diego State as well, a safety. And we'll kind of wait for the rest of these guys to fill in here as we're still waiting. It's still pretty early in the transfer portal. It's crazy that we're in the college football playoffs, and I think we're up to 13 guys out of Oregon that have hit the portal in the middle of a potential championship season. So that is the era of college football, whether you love it or hate it. I mean, it is the way that things are operating now. Let's see. Yes, I appreciate it, TMZ. Congrats on the merch. And then, Anthony Calandria is who we got currently. It will be him, TJ Lateef, and we'll see what else comes up through the works here. But that is going to wrap it up for me. Harrison Arns, did an hour solo. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I know it's always a little bit different when we don't have our usual student athlete talent and our coaches talent out here. Shout out to Mark Bannock for making himself available. But obviously it's time for the holidays. So the lineup's a little bit different, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. Nonetheless, I do know, though, that we will have at least one student athlete show back tomorrow. And I think Thursday, what is today, the 6th? Thursday we'll be locked back into it. So I know Arden Lockheim, she'll be here. She'll have her locked in, Arden's Angle show. That'll be back. And if you guys haven't listened to her yet, she's phenomenal. I mean, if you didn't know, you would say she's a professional. And then if you did know, you'd realize, oh, she is a professional. She does this. She calls Big Ten games. She does a lot of work, for the Big Ten, and it shows up. So that one's a great show. Look forward to. She'll be back on Thursday. I encourage you guys to check that one out, as well as the other student athletes and the coaches shows that will all be kind of pouring back in here, especially for the weeknight stuff as school starts to get back in session. Well, that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hit the out music. You guys are always welcome to join in on the next hour as well, but that's going to do it for me. Harrison Arns, appreciate it as always. Chris Raff's Good Take on Sports. That's coming up next. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com.